Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me. I'm Sanyukta Saxena, and this is the last style that we drew using some fragments, about 3 of them, right? And today is a brand new session and we will be furthering our journey with fragments. So let us get started and try out some more fragments today, right? So let's pick another new fragment or string. First a new string today and then we'll go on to trying new fragments, right? So let's start with something like these petal shapes, right? So I'm just trying to create a nice and beautiful string, right? So drawing these dome kind of shape like this, right? And right, so you can see here inside becomes a flower just by creating some dome shapes, right? So it is not perfect, so we'll try and perfect it as we draw our string with a pen, right? So let's get started right away. So this is just a teaser. So I'm now going to pen the string, right? Right, so this is the string and we are going to be using some fragments inside and some fragments outside, right? So today we will draw some fragments inside the tangle triply, right? So basically the grid here is that of the tangle triply. So I'm going to fill in the inside space just as we draw the tangle triply, right? So triply is nothing but triangles joining each other and drawn close to each other. I'm oraying this side pretty close and I'm working on each flower at a time. So I have completed this flower. Now I'm taking another triangle shape, oraying it closely, completing the triangle, and then again working on the second flower. So triply is a hybrid tangle. It is a reticulum as well as a triangle as well as a tangle, right? So each of these triangles can themselves be used to draw fragments, and triply itself left like this is a wonderful tangle. So I have drawn the triply inside, or you can say the reticula is ready, and now we are going to add a fragment inside. Now there are a whole lot of fragments that we can add. Let us go with a simple fragment today. I'm just going to add some etching at the 3 sides of the triangle here, like this, right? So I'm going to do this exercise for all. These marks can also be widely spaced, right? So that's the the fragment. Reticula here is the tangle triply. Reticula means the grid in which I am inserting the fragment. So take your time and add these etching or thatching as we call in Zentangle, or just some lines emanating from the corner of each of the triangle, sides of the triangle, right? Right, so I'll just continue like this. So now we are done drawing the fragment. So let us now see how do we want to fill up the rest of the space. So one choice is to go with other fragment, right? Or we can stick to just one fragment today and we can fill up the rest of the space with some other tangle, right? So I'm going with a tangle called betweed here in some of the sections, and then we shall see what do we want to do in some of the other sections. So betweed is again lines emanating from both sides with some weight at the end of the line, right? So it's a very simple tangle to draw. One of my first few videos I have demonstrated how to draw the tangle. Right, so that's the tangle betweed. Right, so I will do that in the two opposite sections and then we shall see what other tangles we want to draw. Same process, lines from both sides with some weight at the end of the line, basically drawing a V at the end of the line and just inking it. Small little weight, need not be much. Right, so take your time and patiently draw the tangle betweed or some other tangle. There are a whole lot of tangles that you can choose from. The highlight of the tile is the fragment. Rest of the tangles, feel free to choose whatever you feel like, right? So that's the tangle betweed. Now two of the sections we can go with jongle. Again, some bit of inking is always a good idea. Tangle jongle. So this is the grid of the tangle jongle. Lines running parallel to each other. Yeah. So take your time and then start inking. Jongle has inked portions, bold inking involved, right? So this is the tangle jongle, right? So what I have done here is just inked the alternate sections. First drawn this grid and then we just have to ink the alternate sections of the grid. Yeah. Tangle jongle, a Zentangle original and a drama tangle because of the bold inking involved. You can always play around with the tangle by replacing the inked section with something else. Tangles, lines, anything, right? So just choose tangles of your choice and fill up the rest of the tile. So jongle is just like Knightsbridge, however it has a little slightly different grid in which it is drawn. However, it has the same checkerboard alternate inking involved, just that the grid is different, so it has a different look, right? So take your time and ink the alternate sections. You can always pick up a bolder nib. Right? I am almost finishing inking my jongle here on the last section. Yeah. So done with the inking. So now we are left with two more sections. It is entirely up to us what do we want to do. I want to go with a simple tangle called tipple, right? So I will fill up this space with tipple. Small, big, or you can move from big to small, whatever you feel like, whichever way you feel like drawing it. Series of orbs, either of equal shape or varying shape, right? So just take your time and fill up this space either completely or partially, whichever way you feel like, with the tangle tipple. I may not even fill it completely, right? Leave some of the portion empty and just fill some of the section. Right? Right? So just filling in this much portion with tipple, and I'll do the same on the other side also. Simple tangle to draw, and you can see how natural and beautiful it looks like. Bubbles, seashore. Yeah. So done with drawing my tipple. Let us now move on and shade our tile. Yeah. So we drew a simple fragment today, and I'm just going to So we have already started working on some compositions using our fragments. So in this style we basically learn two things. Triply is both a tangle and a reticulum, which can be used to insert fragments, or you can just leave the inside as it is, and it is the tangle triply. Looks beautiful either ways, provides lot of shading opportunity depending on what have you inserted inside the flower shaped triangles, right? Coming on to our betweed. Let's see how do we want to, since there is ample of space under the lines, so I'm going to add some thin graphite under the lines. Right? Do the same on the other side. Add a slight touch of graphite under the lines. Right? And then moving on to the tipple. Right? So tipple, from where they are starting, a little graphite there, and inside area to add a mystical kind of feel. And then the jongle, just alternate sections. Right? Again alternate sections, which means this line, then leave this line, go to the next line, leave this line, go to the next line, and here. Right? So we have added our graphite. Let us now move on to shading. So as far as the inside section is concerned, again you have an option to add a little more darkness by adding some gray watercolor pencil if you feel like, giving the effect of an enclosure inside. Yeah, moving on to our jongle. Some on the tipple. Right? You see the fun the shading adds to your tile. With a very slight light hand, just blend the graphite under the lines without blending too much, without making the entire section gray. Soft hand, just blur the lines softly. Yeah. the impression of a shadow under the lines. Yeah. So if you want, you can darken the inside area more, as I mentioned, with your watercolor pencil, or just use your pencil a little more at the edges. Yeah. Just blending it a little more. Make sure you leave the center section white. Right. Now time to pick up the chalk. I'll just pick up my chalk pencil and add some highlights to my jongle. The other side of the grey, just a soft touch. Some graphite in the center. Right, white chalk, just blend it a little, soften it. And that's it, we are done. Yeah, so that's our fragment and that's our tile for today. Let us close it here. Make sure the small little portions in between your tipple is filled up. Adds a lot to the look of your tipple. Yeah, put in your chop, sign and date your tile. So I shall see you again with another new session on fragments. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye. And I will name the sequence number of this fragment to you. So this inner fragment is fragment G12. Right? Again, this is the reference number from the Primer Volume 1, the book issued by Zentangle headquarters. And I shall see you again with the next session. Right? Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.